Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of The Sea of Souls, our live stream Dungeons and Dragons campaign brought to you by the Elder Brain. I am Pundy, aka Craig, and we are down one member again this evening. Hopefully, Jack will join us later, but Ian, Devin, and Mike with us as usual. Jack is busy making money or something, being all responsible with the work and things. But yes, hopefully he will join us later. If not, then Torque will be piloted sort of like a giant turtle mech by I don't know, I guess the rest of you guys can take turns. We'll see how it works out.
Shotgun.
And I'll make his grunt sounds and that'll be it. It'll be convincing. Nobody will even know. I mean, we miss you, Jack. But yes, thank you for checking us out. Make sure that you check out our socials. You can find them right below Devin, Taylind.
Below Devin, below Taylind.
Below Devin, check out our link tree. You can find the link to all of our socials there. Follow us, like us, do all those things, and join our Discord and come hang out with us. And we would greatly appreciate that. Jumping right in. So, last episode, as the four of you, even though Jack not there, Torg is still presumably hanging out, you stocked up on some goods given to you by Vale, which she had found in the infirmary in the temple above, dropping them down a ladder and dishing out some potions and some other goodies that she'd found up there, promising that the majority of stuff has been used for helping the injured and those in need from the current riots and the state of things in Beltier. But there was enough to kind of help you on your way as well. You continued to search through the odd chambers found below the temple, the Tidewater Temple of Desuna, high above the plateau looking over Tyr, finding some rather interesting statues in varying positions, and with a little bit of true sight and uncovering some illusory and transmutative magic, determined that the statues were depicting the sort of state that one needed to be in order to reveal the way, which was being humble and eyes cast down, revealing a waterfall wall that you could walk through, eventually leading to a chamber with 8 statues of previous Vale rulers and an altar with a book. The text in the book was unreadable as it kind of moved and, did one of those funky mind things. But a voice from the book spoke out, rejecting the first attempted read and zeroing in on Taylind. And after a bit of conversation, Taylind, you picked up the book. And as you did so, you were hailed as Taylind, son of Vale.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. And so we continue in the depths below the Tidewater Temple. As you stand in the chamber, the voice ringing in your head, Taylind, with somewhat of shocking or enlightening revelation. The book feels warm in your hand, and you feel it pulling you, almost guiding you, leading you. Seeming to indicate that there's more to this room than meets the eye. With that, I turn it over to you.
The book said this in his head, right?
I think we all heard it, though.
You all heard the voice speaking.
Okay.
And announcing Taylind as son of Vale.
Yeah, group telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
What did you say, book?
Valen. book is silent. Does not
All right.
respond.
I'm gonna cock the gun, point it at the book. What'd you say, book?
No response.
I'm threatening a book now.
Yeah, easy, Taylind. Books are for reading, not for shooting. I have learned this and not for eating also. Important fact.
Especially the magic ones. I don't think they would take too kindly to that.
Yeah, this one bites back. Anyway, so does that explain anything to you? Because it sure don't mean squat to me. Have you ever been here before? Does this make any sense?
Not to my knowledge. This doesn't make any sense at all, actually.
Insight check.
Go ahead.
I am curious as all get out right now. How much does Taylind actually know? Insight. That's probably not going to do anything. That's a 3 + 2 for 5.
Who knows?
You cannot read what is going on in Taylin's mind at the moment.
It is another one of those moments where Taylind is very, very quiet. It's almost uncomfortable.
Listen, if you were a goblin, I'd understand. Like knowing your own parentage is sometimes a little tricky in a goblin colony, but I understand for you humany types, it's a little more laid out for you.
The soul is so unbelievable that I'm inclined to think it's untrue. It's quite possible this book was put here as a way to mess with our heads.
But at the
Well,
same
did it
token,
work?
It is working, yes. That's why I think it might be a good plan.
at the same token, though, Taylind, do you even know who your dad is?
I never really met my true father. I was
So,
3 when he died or something. He was gone.
so
Mother never really talked about him.
just to be clear, though, it's not outside the realm of possibility that what this book says is true.
I mean, it's not impossible, but I mean, come on.
I mean, your mom at least had like narrowed it down to like 2 or 3 guys. Like that's the story I got from
My pistol's gonna go right at Flick's head. Perhaps we should lay off those particular kinds of jokes, eh?
Hey man, I'm not when you grow up in a village, it takes a village to raise a goblin, let me tell you. We're all just sort of thrown in together.
Dinar's gonna reach his hand out to Taylind's, like the butt end, or not the butt end, but the muzzle end of his pistol, and slowly start to lower it.
As you do, you'll realize that Taylin's hand is shaking.
Why does this disturb you so much, Taylind? You've been looking for him after all.
How would you feel if you were just told that you're the heir to some empire of evil?
I guess I hadn't considered the fact that you would be the heir.
I also don't know how that works. So, could you lay it out for me?
I don't know. I don't know if this is true. I don't even know if it is where I would, for all I know, I'm just some far distant cousin that everyone forgot about. What I do know is that whether it is true or not, it doesn't change anything about our predicament or our plans, or even what I'm going to do.
I mean, it might change what happens to this city after we clear Eddard, but it certainly doesn't change our
Nothing
initial
changes.
objective.
We do what we were always going to do.
Yes, I'm just saying that if we clear Eddard out of the seat of power, they're going to be looking for the next heir. And then we've got some conversations to have. However, this, even if it is true, doesn't change, like you said, it doesn't change our initial objective of getting rid of Eddard Vale.
Depending on how true it is, it may enhance that.
As long as it's enhancing and not giving you any kind of apprehension.
Or aspirations.
Hmm.
I suppose ruling a town could come in handy, but perhaps we'll see where things lead. Nonetheless, we have a talking book.
Can you read this book?
Can I?
Give me just a straight wisdom check.
Oh boy.
I guess a save. You're not saving against a harmful
it's
thing.
the same
just,
either way.
Yeah, it's just a straight wisdom check.
19.
Whoosh.
19. Okay. The text, it literally appears gibberish. This seems to be changing some sort of spell, possibly illusory magic, just making things appear in the page. Doesn't seem to be the point of it. But as you're holding the book and getting that feeling again that there's more to this area, more to this room, the word key kind of comes to mind, that this book is a key of sorts, that the text doesn't matter. It's more having this book being in your hands that is important for something.
I can't exactly read it, but something's telling me that it's not necessarily meant for that. It's more of a key. Possessing it is the important thing.
At that mention, Dinar's going to look back down the hallway towards the other end where we saw that, or where the two familiars saw that giant gaping hole. Is there still a faded or foggy glass wall blocking us from going in there?
There is still a force field of sorts. There's some partition blocking that passage.
Taylind, why don't you bring your new friend over to the wall over here and see if that's the key to get past?
He meets door. I love the logic of it. Let's go.
All right, let's go open a wall with a book. Why not?
It's a talking book.
It's the least craziest thing that's happened today.
I mean,
It's the least craziest thing that's happened today.
exactly. Nothing happens as you approach the partition, save for the book feeling cooler in your hands. That sort of warm glow has faded somewhat.
I hold the book up to the wall. Open, says me.
Doesn't do anything.
Open sarsaparilla. Open saddle soaps. Open Saskatchewan.
Yeah, hey, you figured it out.
Saskatchewan, eh?
This has got doing it.
Open sesame.
Essek.
Doesn't do anything.
Classic. What about these runes on the floor? I'm trying to remember last week, Craig, if we had mentioned them at all. Is there...
So they seem to represent just a quick cursory glance, they represent the 8 schools of arcane magic. There's a symbol for each school.
Mm.
And so the circle seems to be similar to what you've seen in ritual casting or circles for enchanting, but to have all 8 present seems interesting.
Do any of these runes on the floor align with anything I've seen in the book?
The book is literally just like
well, I know it's
gibberish,
jumbles.
nothing,
okay,
yeah.
So there's no way there's too many for me to theoretically the feasibly figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, book. Can you open the door, please?
Give me an Arcana check.
Oh my god, I never thought that would actually work.
Zaps you. You take 10 lightning damage.
Arcana. It's being real slow.
12. I got it. Set up from here.
There it goes. 12.
Holding the book up, again, like as you kind of move it, you get that faintest sense of that. It's like almost like a shift in temperature. And then as you move it, the temperature of the book adjusts, like changes just so slightly. And you can just kind of sense it, that there's some sort of enchantment on it that seems to be reacting as you move it around.
Is that where he's standing in that hallway, or is that back looking at the runes on the floor?
I'm assuming that he's standing by the door.
I'm by the
the glass.
The frosted glass thing.
Okay, so it wasn't like
yes,
we were too far away from
I used to play this game on the streets. Yes, we want to get warmer. Oh, that's cold. That's a bit warmer.
While Taylind plays hot and cold, Dinar is going to inspect the different statues and see if there's any reason to believe that perhaps there's a doorway there. I don't think that we inspect them. I think we just read the plaques last week.
Yeah. You can give me an investigation check.
Investigation is +4. That's a 12, so +4 is 16. Investigation.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. So reading through the various names, you almost miss it at first. It wasn't really sort of what you're looking for, but as you pay attention to the names, the inscriptions themselves, the lettering on the statue of Malkuth Vale. The word it's spelled normally, but for some reason the letters just look odd, like the hand that carved this one, or the font, if you will, that was used seems slightly different than the rest. It's like the rest are in Arial and this one's like Verdana or something. It's just similar, but there's just a little bit of a difference in how the name Malkuth is engraved. And that is this one right here.
That one right there.
The font was originally invented by the legendary Calibri Vale.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, Taylind, bring your fancy key over here for a sec.
A book key?
Yeah.
You know, I had a bookie once.
I bet you did.
He tried to stab me.
Is it because you tried to swindle him?
Well, yeah. I
I'm
don't
not
blame
surprised.
him.
Actually, speaking of doors and keys, I'm gonna grab Torque and real fast run out to the supply room and drag a barrel out to sort of stick in the doorway here in case the magic thing decides to seal up on us. Maybe try and block it open.
Smart, smart.
Sounds good.
Isn't that
A wise
one
plan.
Is that one of the rules of dungeon delving? Is to put like pythons in to keep the doors open?
That's
Mhm.
right. Yeah. All right, so while you guys are doing that, Taylind, as soon as you begin to approach the room, the book does begin to warm in your hands once more.
Ah, I'm getting warmer.
And it does seem to become, it's never like hot, it's not like, but it does warm a bit as you approach the statue of Malkuth. And the text actually starts to form on the page.
Ah.
And as you get closer to the statue, Malkuth, his name, Malkuth Vale, appears on the book.
Is it in the same typeface?
It is.
Any
Taylind,
chance that
give me
every
a
letter?
Give me a history check because
Okay.
of your expertise here.
Is there any chance that every letter in that name is now also showing up throughout the book?
The whole book is just Malkuth, Malkuth, Malkuth.
That's a 15.
15. It's not a direct one-to-one translation, but the name Malkuth sounds, it's very close to an old Valerian word for keeper or warden, gatekeeper, something along those
Guardian.
that type of language.
What's the point of having a talking book if I don't talk to you?
Maybe it's waiting for us to open the door and then it will guide us further.
Perhaps. What do you make of this? Looks like the name's showing up on it. Maybe we could try it with the other statues?
Well, this one is the only one that's different. The writing, at least.
Okay,
It is-
well, I
it is
mean,
different than the other, so
he
I'm
was-
assuming that
he
there's
was-
a connection.
he was named Guardian. Malkuth is a sort of evolution, kind of old language. It ends up meaning keeper or guardian. There was a story about a couple of those in Old English I used to read.
Old Common?
Well, whatever.
Old Valerian.
Old Valerian.
Is the statue... Are both the hands full on the statue?
No.
Is there one hand that looks like perhaps a book could be placed in?
Both of the hands are kind of at the sides, just sort of down and kind of go loose. Like they're not held fists, they're not like anything, they're just kind of, I mean,
Wouldn't matter anyway.
it's
My book.
possible.
Yes,
My
it's
book.
your book, but maybe if we give the book to the statue...
My book.
All right, let's hear your brilliant ideas then, Taylind.
If I bring the book up to each statue, do I notice any temperature change difference among them? Like, is it warmer on Malkuth versus all the others? Is it warmer than
It's-
any others? Is
It's definitely warmer in proximity to Malkuth.
okay. And the name showed up on the page. Is it glowing or is it just there like script?
It's just there like ink. Yeah, like just inked text. But as you move away from the statue, it fades again and the words just kind of just become...
Interesting. And that doesn't happen
Scrambled.
with any of the other statues.
What does Malkuth look like?
Hmm.
Some bloke.
I'm gonna start, comparing his face to Taylor's face, basically.
Hmm.
I don't see the resemblance.
Give me a perception check.
Sure. Ooh, 22. How's that work for you?
I mean, it's not like, you're looking at the statue and be like, oh my goodness, that's Taylind in statue form.
Hmm.
There are
Familial?
some similar, like, there's the jawline, you could say, has some. It's hard to say with a carved statue, but
Yeah.
could be similarities in the jawline. Shape of the eyes seems to be somewhat common, like the, length of the face. There are some features that do line up. Now, as a goblin,
Yeah.
Oh,
looks like a
humans look the
dude.
same.
All you smooth skins look the same.
But I will say, though, that as a goblin who has traveled a bit in in Valeria, and like sort of those that not Gungar Mile, sorry, from Careful, and like through sort of one of the larger continent islands, that most of the folk of this northern part of the seas do sort of have similar features in that way. So most North folk, if you will, from this region do seem to bear some similarities. So it could just be that, but there are definitely some connections, a few features that you could say line up somewhat.
What do you think? Great granduncle or something?
How the heck should I know? I'm just as flabbergasted by this whole thing as yourself,
Oh, I'm pretty flabbergasted. Don't you worry. So what are we doing in here? What's this thing?
Well, the book shows the name of Malkuth when I bring it close to the statue, so there's got to be something there.
I think you should try to hold it out to the statue as if you're offering it. Its hands are not full. Maybe it will
They also
grab the book.
they're also not really set in a position that you would expect someone to be if they were trying to receive something.
Yes,
Do
but
the arms move? I gotta
I was
go
gonna
see if the arms move.
we live in a world
Well,
of magic.
It's an action figure. Is it? How many points of articulation on this?
Give me an investigation check.
I would
Yeah,
assume there'd be
right.
like a transmutation.
I'll say I'd give you advantage on this because of what Dinar had already kind of found.
Oh, well, with advantage, there's a 22, which is better than the 11.
Yep.
Your mundane investigation doesn't reveal anything, but because you are a spellcaster, you do pick up a little bit of the potential of magical energy being involved in creating the statue. There's just something tickling the back of your mind where you're like, now if I were a wizard creating statues, I'd put some magic into it. It's possible there's some sort of, hey, those other statues, they moved.
I've already seen statues with
Magically.
transmutation.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're attached to your book. I understand the bibliophile and all of us, really. But yeah, like try and like press it into the statue or hold it up to the statue or hold it out like you're handing it to it and see what happens. Because last time we stood near, or maybe just stand next to it and read the book. Because like last time we were standing in front of the statues and had to look at the ground and suddenly magic happened. So maybe it's the same thing here.
I will not take my hand off the book, but I will just sort of touch the statue at various points with it.
Reaching out with the book towards the statue, the left hand does start to move up.
Oh!
And then its hand kind of
Taylind, you said this book was a key, right?
Yeah?
Why won't you use the key?
That's why I have lockpicks. I just got this thing. I don't want to give it away.
I am not saying you have to give it away.
This thing has answers that I need to know.
Yeah? Go ahead, read it for us then. Let's hear those answers.
All right, fine. I will reluctantly place the book in the hand.
The hand grabs the book. The
Yeah.
book glows slightly.
Tread.
Dinar, on the floor of the circle of runes, the rune for transmutation magic does begin to glow, and the runes seem to kind of spin in a circle until the rune for transmutation lines up in the center of the altar. As it does so, the two braziers, hate that they're spelled the same. That was stupid.
Good old English.
The braziers both do a light, one purple, one blue, just, and you see a portion of the wall give way.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Over here.
Can I take the
Revealing a
book?
passage beyond.
Can I take the book back out of the statue?
I mean, most locks work like that, where you get the key back, right? Just
Yeah.
use it, eat it.
It's true.
Go ahead and attempt to grab the book. I really remove the book, and the statue's hand starts to go down again and returns to its position. Everything stays open.
All right. Everyone's happy. We're all good.
The altar.
Let's go explore the secret tunnel.
And with the sound of crumpling paper, flitters by page. She knows her job. Flip, 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 flip. And now I'm gonna
Narrow hallway.
page vision. We've got a hallway. There's some stairs. Looks like it opens up, and there's a thing a little further down. Flip, 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 flip.
You see a large statue constructed of some sort of metallic substance. You're not entirely sure, but it has been almost like brush painted with this turquoise hue to it. Standing atop a plinth that's about 2 feet high. In total, the domed ceiling of this small chamber is about 20 feet in height. This statue, at its height, stands 12 feet. There's a circle around it, glowing, and an arcane rune on the floor in front of it that gives off just the faintest pulse.
Yeah, just some dumb statue. Meh.
You
What,
do see that there
another
is a passage underneath, seems to kind of go down a little bit. But there is something blocking the way. There's like one of those other shimmering kind of fields seems to be blocking the passage at this point here.
All right, and there's a way to go, and we might need the magic book again because there's something blocking it.
Well, if there's another statue, I certainly think I might know how that works.
Let's hope so. Hey, at some point, we're all like I see Dinar's a little banged up still. Torque's a little banged up. Can we like do a short rest while we're doing this?
You want to take a bit of a breather? I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm looking for answers at this point.
Taylind, as you approach the statue, you see that there is a rune inscribed on the ground. You're familiar enough with magic to recognize this as the symbol for abjuration magic.
Mm-hmm. I guess what we're doing is activating all of the runes. What happens if I bring the book close to the statue?
The statue does not move.
Does the book get warm or do any? Does it have any names show
The
up on
book has no temperature to it now at this point. It is just innate.
It might have done its thing, and now it's done, huh?
it? Better not have. What's the point of having a book that talks if all it does is open a door?
Hey, man.
Hey, wake up.
Well, if the book ain't doing it, and that is definitely abjuration. That's the protection one, right? Flick's gonna kneel down and put his hands on it, and he's gonna cast Blade Ward. That's an abjuration cantrip I've got. To see if anything happens.
The rune pulses to light. And the statue, not like turning, like just kind of like on a plinth, actually seems to animate and with a step pivot kind of goes and turns, points its finger out towards the force fields, and he watches it dissipates.
Easy peasy. Magic, man.
All right. Very nice.
And so
I guess we go through the tunnel.
Oh.
I'm just gonna move you guys over there because it's easier
More
that way. So.
tunnel.
Oh, no, I put you in a wall. Sorry.
What we got here?
Another chamber with a pillar that almost seems to be somewhat transparent, ethereal. It's both here and not here. It's got a strange, eerie light to it. You can see its physical features, but it almost looks like it's occupying this place and another plane, another realm at the same time. It's very ghostly looking.
My gut's telling me conjuration, but that's just a guess here.
There's no rune around it, though, is there?
There is no rune on the floor of this one.
Well, it worked so well last time. Maybe I just need to clean the floor a little bit. I will conjure my spiritual swabby, which is a conjuration cantrip, and start mopping the floor and see if we can find a rune.
The floor becomes a little less dusty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is no rune revealed, and it does not seem to trigger the pillar.
I mop the pillar. Does that help at all?
Nope.
So
Well,
maybe
at
not
least it's cleaner
conjuration.
now. That's
It is
important.
physical. It is physically there.
Hmm.
It's solid. It just is also transparent, ethereal. And like at the same time, it's material and not. Yeah.
Can I put the book on the altar?
It's a pillar, so it's about 4 feet high. Like it's.
Okay.
You want to put the book?
Can I place the book on top of it?
Okay. For a moment, nothing happens. And then the book, like, sinks into the pillar.
Whoa!
And it kind of, like, turns so that it's vertical. Goes about a foot down and then just stops.
That ain't normal.
Taylind, give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, goody! 10.
A question sounds. One that you feel compelled to answer. The question sounds audibly for all of you to hear, emanating from this pillar, directed at Taylind. A woman's voice, similar to that of the ghost of Elsbeth, but a little bit different. Daughter, mother, some relation, but not quite the same. Taylind, son of Vale. Do you run from your past, or will you embrace it? Speak truthfully.
Past is dead. All that we can do is avenge it.
What do you feel must be avenged?
The injustices, the wrongs.
Done to you? Or to others?
Those who were unable to deal it themselves.
A noble answer. Perhaps you have escaped the dark fate of our bloodline. He awaits to welcome you below. The book thumps to the ground, lands physically. The pillar kind of flickers a little bit. You're able to actually reach through the pillar at this point and retrieve the book as it's...
Which I do.
The pillar is no longer as solid as it previously was. To the side, the wall just kind of flickers for a moment and just vanishes, revealing an entrance into the large circular chamber with the gaping pit in the middle.
Well, that wasn't so bad.
Sorry, was that allowed that we could hear, or was that all
Yes.
of his head?
Nope,
Okay.
it was all out loud. Yep.
All right.
Dinar's going to take a peek down the hallway over here. I'm assuming that's another foggy glass barrier.
So there is a aqueduct of sorts, water just kind of funneling through it and peeking
okay.
around. You just see water. The ceiling is very low, and it's just water just flowing, steady stream that kind of comes through this channel here and pours down the hole in a steady flow.
Might be an escape route. How are we gonna operate this thing?
This thing looks pretty busted, yeah? Like all this stuff is like broken machinery, right?
From what you can tell, the gear works here have been broken for a long time. There's teeth in the gears missing. There's axles bent, some out of place. There's a little bit of debris that you see is collapsed from the ceiling above that has shattered some of it. Whatever platform that this would have been connected to is nowhere in sight. You can see a couple of chains dangling down, but they stop about 20 feet down, connected to nothing. And you can actually see where the links on the ends of them have snapped and are broken. And so whatever was here, whatever this operated, is unavailable to you.
Suppose it's, in theory, the way to get down.
Your book has been the key.
I'm not dropping the book down the shaft.
I'm not saying you drop the book down the shaft. I'm saying maybe your book can magically repair what's broken.
I don't know, Dinar. It really seems like it's really just more of a key than a... I mean, I could maybe use it as an improvised hammer.
I just want to say that in the first room, I was right.
Yeah.
So maybe give it a shot before you dismiss it.
I'll just rub the book over the damaged mechanism. There. You happy now?
Very. I'm assuming nothing happens.
Nothing other than Taylind's pride being tarnished a little bit. As he rubs a gear with a book. It's like,
Well, that's-
okay.
I thought that might tarnish Dinar's pride a little bit.
Probably that as well. Yeah, literally nothing happens. There's, yeah.
Right. Now that we're done with that, let's try and find a proper solution here.
Well, first of all, let's see what if we can figure out what we're tackling here. I'm going to send Paige down as far down as the extent of my 100 feet of connection will last.
Theoretically, we could potentially use the water as a way to get down.
Yeah, we'll see what we're up against first. I'm with you on this, though.
I have played a lot of Minecraft, so yes, this will work.
You can survive any fall as long as
It's
it's a bucket of water.
it's a square of water, yep. You send Paige down. Once you get to the 100-foot mark, the tunnel continues, the shaft continues beyond that, and it is dark.
I will
This is deep.
bring her back up. It's like, yeah, at least 100 feet, and there's no end in sight. So whatever we do, we got to make sure that it'll work for indefinite periods. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Taylind, you have been able to freeze water and stand on it before, right?
Aye, that is a thing that I do enjoy doing from time to time. Ice is just water after all, and I am the master of all water.
Well, we got a convenient water source here. Could you make us some stepping stones or stairs or a slide or something?
So, yes and no. My thought is to try and abuse the water walk spell. Because I'm not sure how that would work with a waterfall. But I feel like, because it always carries you to the surface of the liquid at a rate of 60 feet per second. I don't know if it would combat the waterfall to a degree where it would actually like slow fall us down there. I have no idea.
And of course, I don't have Featherpaw prepared.
Oh, I'm like
useless.
out of
The-
spells.
So the other option is, if you can get me a line of sight down there. Actually, I guess it doesn't even need to. As long as it's not, as long as it's within 120 feet down, I can throw us a wind cushion down there.
I do have Featherfall prepared. And I've got spell slots left.
I do
So
also
we
want to point out that's my last spell slot. Regardless, unless we do the water walk, because that's a ritual.
And Featherfall affects up to 5 falling creatures within range. So, yeah, I could. We could all
Well,
just
alrighty then.
Oh, I could also do it. Oh, no, I don't have it prepared. Shut up, Mike.
I mean, that is one of my last spells available for the day, but we could totally do the old Geronimo, assuming that our fall will be less than a minute. A minute is a long time to fall.
I was gonna say that.
A minute is a long time to fall. You fall 500 feet per round. So that's 500 feet per 6 seconds. So within a minute, that's like thousands of feet.
With
Theoretically.
Featherfall, we fall 60 foot.
Featherfall, that's right. You do go slower. That's true,
the only way you could fall longer than a minute is if you're literally free falling from like the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Like,
Dinar
you
is
fall-
going to go
like,
over
you
to
fall
the-
quick.
Dinar's going to go over to the rubble. We're going to do a little wizard math here. He's going to grab a plank, and he's going to hold it out over the opening and drop it. Maybe try to throw it about 10 foot in front of him, so it falls more down the middle. And then we're going to listen to see how long it takes to fall.
Start counting.
Now that you're relying on me knowing
Well, I'm just...
fall rate and velocity.
No, but just is Dinar able to gauge the distance based on when he hears it drop? Or when he hears it hit the bottom?
There's at the very least, there are two things, right? If you don't hear it hit the bottom, that's concerning.
Yep.
If you do hear it hit the bottom, but it's very faint and it takes a long time to get there, that's also concerning.
Yep.
Give me a perception check then, as you
Strain our
drop.
ears.
I would say Flick can do this with advantage. You're all listening since Flick has his ears of earness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ears of hearing.
Well,
Oh.
there you go. That is better than my 12.
18. Well, that's because I literally can't ever roll a 12. It's an 18 for me.
Dinar?
Oh, I'm rolling too. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, you threw the thing down.
This was
I
your
know,
idea.
I know, but my perception is 1. Rolled an 8, so 9.
So you and well, you know what? I think Torque should roll as well. Torque should make a perception check here.
I've got a sheet up. Do you want me to roll? You rolled.
I rolled. Maybe you should. Yeah, no. Either way, it's okay. Taylind, you're able to determine that it has to be less than 500 feet. You heard it hit probably in about 4 seconds. So
That's pretty deep.
Somewhere around 300 to 400 feet, maybe.
That is one long shaft.
Well, at least you didn't send your Willy down the long shaft. That's the important thing.
And there it is.
All right.
You're talking about 300 to 400
6
feet, probably.
rounds.
All right, so that is within the scope of Featherfall taking care of it.
Yeah.
Because we fall at a rate of 60 feet per round for a minute, so we can do 600 feet safely.
Yep.
All right. You guys all trust me with this, right? I totally have this handled.
Well, I did until you said that.
Flick, look at me. What do you need? What do you need to cast it?
Oh, I got the crap right here. Let me just rummage just around. I need a feather. I need some people falling.
Okay. I trust you. But mostly
That's
because
not how magic works, is it?
if I jump and I'm not falling like a feather, I'm just gonna have the dimension door out of here. So
Will
worst
you have
case scenario,
time?
I'm fine.
I don't think you'll have time to do that unless you ready the action.
Nah, it's instantaneous.
All right. Well, for
So
this
the
to
fact
work,
that this is a react, I was just gonna say, yeah, like you have to jump first.
Yeah.
Cast second.
so I'm going to ask all of us to sort of link arms here because I'd like us to go more or less at the same time so that I can get this catching us all easily.
Or
The other
kind of like
option-
looks down there. He's like,
The other option is I just make my
"We've
parrot
come
big
this far."
and carries us all down.
One at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I like Fleck's plan better. I prefer
Yeah,
magic.
Arrive in style. Let's do this.
Like, you have my trust. This time.
All right, then.
Well, if it doesn't work, I suppose it's kind of like throwing a cannonball at him with Torque here. So,
Try not to clench too much. All right, go on 3. 1,
stormy oceans carry us to lands we've never known.
2, 5. Nope, 3. Off we go. Geronimo.
So, all right, and you all leap into the air. And as you immediately begin to plummet down the dark shaft,
Fall.
casts Featherfall.
It's a long way home, but many miles to go. And there's a gale that's trying to drag us all below.
You instantly slow. There's that moment where your stomach kind of like, whoa! And then just as suddenly as you begin falling rapidly, you slow and gradually begin to just drift down. You're surrounded by complete darkness as you leave the light from above.
That's a good question. Is this concentration? That'd be hilarious.
If we're in utter darkness, I think Dinar will up his scales.
Okay.
I'll cast light on
Light up.
Paige as we're falling as well, just to.
You can see grooves on the sides of this shaft where various gears or anchors and stuff would have been at one point. You can see some hooks and stuff that would have held chains and ropes in place. This has been here for a very, very long time. This is ancient construction. You're talking hundreds of years old, likely. And the more you descend, you realize that it's possible that it was never meant to go back up. That this was a one-way down. There's no sign of a platform ever being raised. You can see actually grooves and stuff where it was lowered, but not the constant use. Dinar, especially, growing up around dwarves, seeing a lot of that machinery where there's that constant, grading of stone where things move back and forth on it. That's absent here. There's just a few scrapes seemingly made in a downward direction, that something descended and didn't go back up.
Are there giant
Ever.
claw marks on the wall?
There are not giant claw marks on the wall.
We get to the very bottom where it's scrabbling, trying to climb back.
Eventually, you see a faint light glowing below you. It begins to grow brighter. And you see a pool of water. Ostensibly the destination of the waterfall that is following down the shaft with you. And you see it in a square pool below. You can just make out some ambient lights coming from somewhere beyond the edge of the shaft. The shaft opens and the chamber below is possibly similar in size to the one that you left above. You eventually find yourselves descending into the pool
Water.
as you drop out of a hole in the ceiling. Did it not load for you guys?
No, I can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, there. Okay.
Keep the book dry. Keep it dry.
How tall are these statues that flank either corner?
They're about 10 to 12 feet tall.
They're about as tall as that blue one that we saw?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The water you're standing in is only about 2 feet. So for Flick, it's a little bit higher on you. It's quite cool. There seems to be a small drain just at the very center of the bottom, where the water from above seems to very, very slowly drain. It's meant to kind of keep this level, you can tell, and just a small like plug drain almost at the bottom to let the water flow out through. The lights in this room are unlike anything you've ever seen. There's 4 of them hanging on chains suspended from sort of like iron posts sticking out of the wall. Solid spheres. They look to be glass, but perhaps a little bit thicker. There's no flame coming from them. They're sort of physical glowing orbs. To the north of you, or above, I guess, north on the map, there's a barely visible force field. You can just make it out as it kind of shimmers every now and then. A strange contraption against the wall beside it. You can see a number of tubes and cylinders and dials, knobs, all kinds of strange things on this thing, that this apparatus that are glowing, and it seems to be has cables of some sort of unknown material going from the box, this thing, into the wall itself beside this force field, and the whole contraption just glowing slightly. Beyond it, you can see another force field. This one is completely opaque. You can't see anything through it. Dinar, you can just make out another box. This one's slightly bigger, more complicated, convoluted. That's what I'm looking for. There seem to be a number of glowing pillars in that chamber as well, firing visible lines of purple energy crisscrossing the room in a lattice work pattern.
You know, this temple's a lot bigger on the inside than it looks from the outside.
2 more stone doors, more mundane looking, are off to the side of the chamber.
Yeah, this all screams water god to me as well. It's this place is weird.
Well, let's go have a look-see, shall we?
Indeed.
I would suggest we start with the mundane-looking doors instead of the weirdness that's going on over there.
Yep, my day's had enough weird already. Let's do the regular old doors.
Your days?
While they fiddle with those doors, Dinar's going to go over and inspect the device on the wall. Not going to touch anything, I just want to take a look.
Nerd!
Flick, the knobs on this door, the door handles are solid brass and just ever so slightly kind of like out of socket. You can see that they've displaced a little bit. This has been here a very, very long time. This is very old construction, and the handles actually loosened up a little bit over time. It doesn't appear, it's very, very normal looking.
Gingerly try and open the door.
Okay. You actually have to kind of like move the knob a little bit to like get it in place, as it's kind of like hanging out, and you like have to hold it a little bit, and It like creaks.
Someone take the screws off here. Yeah.
The door kind of just pulls open a little bit, or pushes in a little bit as it kind of has settled for so long that it's kind of been stuck in place, and you just gingerly open it, and it does seem to push inward. A little bit of resistance from age, but otherwise nothing else. And inside you see a storage room.
All
A couple
right.
of lights. Small
Got any-
globes of similar construction of the ones on the outside, but these ones in little holders sitting on the desks. Almost like brass candlestick, but instead of a candle, there are these little globes sitting in them, and they kind of flicker for a moment and come to light.
Neat. Are they attached or are they bolted to the desk or anything? Or I'm gonna pick one up and see if I can.
They are
That
not,
works.
so you can.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna give you some light here.
Is there any booze in this room?
So as you pick it up, it kind of warms and glows a little bit brighter, and illuminates the room for you.
Nice.
You got a glow stick.
Yeah, pretty neat, huh? Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it.
Torque is gonna kind of watch. I guess he would just kind of. I will keep an eye on you, Captain, in case you need me.
Keep an eye on those statues. I want to know if they move.
Aye, aye.
A lot of statues in this place.
So, at first glance, I'll get back to you in a second here, Janara, but at first glance, this contraption, you have absolutely no idea what it's about, what it's supposed to like. It's just defies anything you've seen. You've never seen anything like this, even in the Artificers Guild in Stormhaven on Gargrim. Like, they've got some weird contraptions, but nothing quite like this at all.
Is there anything written, any script on it?
Not that you can see. Taylind and Flick, this really does seem to be a room of provisions, most of which have long since molded and dried and turned to dust. Sacks of what might have held grain at one point. There's even like dead bugs, that maggots and stuff that likely would have infested it way in the distant past. Nothing but dried carcasses now. The material on the desks, most of it seems to be inventory. But Flick, as you pick up the lantern from the one table, there is one book that seems to be a little bit different than the rest. It looks like it's a little bit more well crafted. Definitely well used. It's got a leather binding on it. And you can even see that it's been cracked and opened and manipulated extensively. It's been used a lot. You can tell when a book's been used and the paper isn't quite as flat. It's like that the parchment is more wavy, like it's been pressed on and used, and so it doesn't sit nice and flat like this. It's like kind of a little bit thicker, right, with that used parchment.
All right. Take a look at that.
Inside, the first page is an illustration titled Vale Family Tree.
All right. Hey, Taylind, come take a look. Maybe we can find you.
It dates all the way back to Silas Vale,
Interesting.
the founder of Tyr. It ends with 3 names side by side. Eddard Vale II, Valencia Vale, and Silas Vale IV. Valencia and Silas both have X's marked beside them. And as you kind of put 2 and 2 together, you realize that there's a few entries of names in the past where individuals that died young. It's a really convoluted family tree. You can see where a number of other of the noble families of Tyr were kind of interspersed to sort of keep the nobility alive, and no indication that the Vales were only coupling with Vales. You see a number of noble families: the Eldglooms, Sorkins, the Artruses, Shalarks, Corrigans, a few others interspersed here and there.
And the Wave Singers.
None of the names really stand out to you at all, Taylind, other than Eddard, Valencia, Silas, Malekith, of course.
Yeah, look, there's no dog slicer in here either. I don't get it.
You do see the name of Tonshu as well.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a fairly up-to-date record then.
It is very up to date. Like,
Are there
to
any
the most recent generation?
Are there any like birth and death dates on any of the family members?
Some of them are smudged and harder to make out, but there are accurate sort of dates for the individuals who apparently took over the title of sort of ruler, head of the house, ruler of Tyr. Beginning with Silas himself. With the date of birth is not marked, but date of death set at 440, the year 440. Interestingly, there is a date of birth and date of death for Eddard Vale II. Born 832, died 865, the current year.
Oh.
Dead man walking, I guess. Yo ho ho with a bottle of rum.
Wishful thinking, maybe. I don't know.
Following pages have descriptions of every known Vale family member under their names: height, hair color, eye color. Some notes about favorite pastimes, vices, virtues.
What the hell is like?
Interesting.
Did a PI set up shop down here? Like, what the hell?
Oh, noble families are basically super into themselves.
Oh, so you're gonna fit right in, is what you're saying.
Greg, I know I'm not there, but just for my notes' sake and for my memory, the final 3 names on the family tree were Eddard, Valencia, and Silas IV.
Correct.
I thought I
Marked all
heard you
his
say that
siblings.
Silas and Valencia had been crossed out. That's correct. But Eddard has a death date.
Correct. So the ones that have like those X marks beside indicate, they were able to determine that it indicated children who, like those who died young. They died as children. And so they were there's a mark beside certain names throughout who basically there's no like family entries below them. There were individuals who died young.
Oh, okay, so it's saying that Valencia and Silas IV died young. We kind of know why Valencia would be crossed out, but we don't.
We haven't
Maybe-
heard
maybe
about Silas the Fourth.
Okay, I was gonna say,
no.
what do we know about Silas the Fourth?
Well, let's read up on Silas the Fourth, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna just be looking at Taylind as I'm reading the page on Silas the Fourth. Going, yeah, here we go. Likes to sing, likes his booze, etc., etc., etc. Died at age 10.
Silas the Fourth, third son of Silas the Third and Wilhelmina, died 3 weeks after birth of an unknown disease.
Or sap.
Eye color, baby weight, number of fingers.
8 pounds 6 ounces. All fingers are there. Blue eyes, brown hair.
Damn. He had an answer. Yeah, I know. I remember you were showing me,
And then there's that page, and that page,
All right, I'm looking at Taylind a little closer. Now, let me just get
that page of the dates and the births. And yeah.
I know what you're
not being
thinking.
coy here, but what color are your eyes again, Taylind?
I don't dye my hair.
Yeah.
It's too much of it. It would be too much of a hassle. Except the turquoise streak. That's the only thing.
Well, any other top contenders here? To peruse the family tree, right? Not family web. We could establish that. That's good. Anyone
Goblin-
else?
Goblins have a web?
I mean, you know, small communities. It happens. And you're never really sure who's, right? So, I mean, like, you know, isn't that the way that sounds like the way you were brought up too? Not really sure whose you were and who belonged to who. Yeah.
I like you. Please don't change.
Hey, I like you too. All right, let's keep reading.
While this is going on, Dinar,
Yep.
you can give me a straight intelligence check.
Thank you.
Finally, something he's good at.
Straight intelligence. This should be good. Let's see. This is +4. I rolled a 1 for a total of 5.
You fight like you're staring at this thing. It doesn't make any sense. Where are the gears? There's no levers or gears. There's no like what does it even do? It doesn't seem to be making anything. There's no vials of like alchemy. There's no sprockets or anything from like, something an artificer would put together. It's
How long have we been at this thing? Like, today we've had the riot in the streets. We've crashed the temple. We fought Danica's hideous form. We came down here, fought the undead. How long have we been at it today?
Well, I'd
Hours?
assume at least a couple hours.
Like, are we approaching evening?
oh yeah, it's been hours.
Because I recognize it's the role, but I'm thinking story-wise, it's the end of the day. I mean, Dinar is certainly in need of a long rest. We're hurt. I think Dinar's going to turn to Torque and say, like, just throw his hands up in the air like he's frustrated. I can't make any sense of this. I need to sleep. I need to look at this with fresh eyes.
Well, I don't mean to, become a bit of a downer, but I really don't think this is a good place to take a nap.
Perhaps we could barricade those doors.
Yeah,
Do we have time? Like,
Yeah, that's we know we've been detected because of Elspeth, right?
isn't this whole thing like we're doing a raid?
There is a ticking clock for sure.
Like, we could, but
I mean, by the sounds of things, he already knows we're coming. It's just a matter of how long he wants to wait for us, I guess.
either one of two things is going to happen, at least as far as I'm concerned. If we try to get any kind of sleep here, we're likely all going to never wake up again. Or by the time we get where we're needing to go, they'll have skedaddled.
No. This place is important to them, right? He's not gonna leave.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm exhausted. Other than the shot of adrenaline that this book gave me, and the voices, and this whole place it's been great. It's been a great play. I love it here. I would also love a little bit of a refresher, but I just don't think we have the time to spare for a good night's sleep until we finish up here.
How's this sound? As a middle ground, how about we take a quick rest, regroup, compare notes, collect our heads, and then see if we can get through that friggin' door. I'm proposing a short rest, at least, if not a long rest.
Yeah, I mean, like, I need a long rest too. I feel like.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a ticking clock element.
Like, yeah, like this does not seem like a good time to do that. I mean, it's our own fault for going crazy on Big Boss Lady up above, and then not realizing there was an entire dungeon beneath it.
Well, but we had to go crazy on Boss Lady up above.
We probably overdid it a little bit, but yeah, we did need to use a lot of stuff. I mean, I also agree, like, when we fight Eddard or whatever he is now, or whatever is controlling him, it's going to be rough without access to a bunch of cool stuff. But like, I'm not completely tapped. I have all of my bardic inspiration. I have a spell slot. I've still got all my cantrips. I've got cutting words. Like, I've got options.
Yeah, I get a bit of stuff back on short rest anyway, like Second Wind, Action Surge comes back, stuff like that. But I'm down to 2 spell slots, so yeah. But I'm content to at least try a short rest and see how that goes.
Have we taken a short rest in this dungeon?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because I've already burned my arcane recovery, so a short rest for me just gets me 3 dice worth of hit points back.
I believe, Captain, ultimately the decision is yours.
Aye, Capitan.
Look, I hear you guys.
I feel like Torque would say if you need to rest, you kind of be on the captain's side, like rest, but you'd also be like understanding the haste part, like he wants to get through with it, so he would see both sides of it, but wouldn't, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think, like, how would Torque see that?
Well, and it sounds like I'm the one that's perhaps the most tapped, so as much as a short rest,
about a full rest.
Yeah, but you guys are right. There is a bit of a time crunch here. We've essentially lost our element of surprise. If we take a long rest, we've lost any element we might have had. So
well, that's the other thing to consider is we take a long rest. We've already lost the element of surprise. He knows we're coming. It's just a matter of how much more fortified
do we. That's the thing.
Rather than 1.
Do we really want to give him 8 hours of prep? I mean, while we don't have the element of surprise anymore, he definitely. I have to assume he wasn't expecting us to get this far.
Maybe not.
We also don't know what kind of stuff he's up to. We interrupted a ritual on our way in here.
Yeah.
If we had taken a long rest before entering the temple, for example, we might have had to contend with a shadow dragon. And while fighting something like that would be a lot easier with all of our stuff back, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not completely tapped. Flick's not completely tapped.
Yeah. And Torque, I think, is doing fine.
Torque will be fine. It's really just Dinar that, like, and don't get me wrong, not having his heavy hitting is going to be detrimental, but I don't know if that's the only thing.
I have 3 spell slots left.
That's more than me.
Yeah, but that's That's my whole thing. That's the
I know.
big difference. But I hear what you guys are saying, and I think Dinar would probably side with the party.
This is why
Okay.
Dinar needs to make some scrolls.
Now they've got
Yeah.
the money. We can do this.
This is the exact situation that scrolls are designed for. So note to self, Dinar, in the future, bring lots of scrolls. The best part about that is you can make scrolls of the spells you don't have prepared,
Yeah,
so that even if you don't have them prepared, you still have access to those spells.
that's true.
Trillium, just tell him to get on with it.
Get on with it.
She says, biting my nails here. You're just making plans.
Hey, plans are important.
Kind of what they
Look
do.
at the last time my character rushed into something, I blew the dang party up. So I am cautious because of PTSD. But yeah, short rest makes sense.
So yeah, if it's a vote thing, I'd say
Post
if we
TPK stress disorder.
if we need a rest, I'd say short rest is bare minimum. I'm kind of wishing I took the catnap spell right now, but oh well. I almost did. I was this close.
Very pro planning. What do you suggest, Julian? What is our most loyal viewer?
I say we go in guns blazing. Set my gun on fire.
Literally, yeah, blazing.
All right, well, short rest. Dinar's going to burn the rest of his hit dice.
Trill says, I'm biting my nails at the thought of not resting at all before taking on someone as narratively important as Eddard Vale.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, we got to keep things interesting here.
Also true.
Going into a boss fight, speaking as a DM, going into a boss fight fully rested actually makes the boss fight kind of not that great because you just Nova them. Going in with the whole point of a dungeon crawl is to whittle you down, so when you get to the boss fight, it's intense.
That's true, and I suppose it is more of a victory if we come out the other end having gone in so damaged and hurt.
All right,
assuming
short rest.
Short rest,
long
yes.
rest. What are we doing?
Short rest.
All right.
Short rest. So
all right,
Dinar is going to burn his remaining 3 hit dice.
Song of Rest.
What does that mean?
Ooh.
Everybody gets a d6 to heal.
Hey, I get 4
If you
d6.
spend a hit die, then
If
you
you
get
spend a
So-
hit die, which you are doing.
we will take this short rest opportunity for us to take a short break. Since it is 9:30, perfect timing actually.
Mhm.
So while the characters rest, we will break and we'll be back. So stay tuned to see what happens next. Don't go anywhere. We're back.
Get round the fire with...
Hey Elderbrain Collective, if you've been enjoying our live stream D&D campaign and want to support us, there are many ways you can do just that and we would be super grateful. Seriously, it'd be awesome. First, of course, make sure you're following us on Twitch. Once we get our 50 followers goal, we can make our stream even better with subscriber perks. Then, be sure to follow our Twitter account. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post stream VODs as well as additional content coming soon. Of course, you can listen to audio transcripts of our stream on Podbean if that's your preference. Of course, you'll miss out on our handsome faces, but you get our incredible voices, so it's pretty good. You want to hang out with the collective and chat D&D and, well, everything else? Head over to our Discord server. It's open to anyone who wants to join. Finally, we've just launched our Patreon page, which is the optimum and best way to support us. That's redundant, optimum is best. Each tier gets you additional perks, including exclusive Discord emotes, monthly digital content, behind-the-scenes info and creature stats, and, for the truly faithful, you can even gain power over the PCs in-game, live on stream, and have an impact on what happens next. I think that's pretty awesome. We'd love your support. You can find the links to all of our sites on our link tree. Check out linktr.ee/elderbrain, linktree/elderbrain. We hope to see you joining us soon as a member of the collective. Happy gaming, everyone.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Greetings, wary travelers. My name is Mike, and I will be playing the role of Dinar Neurixius, Dragonborn wizard on the Sea of Souls. Allow me to get into character and we can learn a little bit more about this pale golden dragon. Being chosen is supposed to be a good thing. Chosen by the gods to serve a purpose. However, it can mean facing a life alone. I was born in our homeland, Drakor, in the east. And though these scales are supposed to be a blessing, I was reviled by so many. I could see their jealousy, could feel their stares. My own people shunned me, and so I left. I still drew stares when I arrived in Stormhaven. It's hard to miss these scales. But the dwarves were far more accepting of me. I learned I could put my magic to good use out on the seas, so I served aboard a ship, adding my arcana to their arsenal. Maybe one day I'll return home. Maybe they will welcome me as Verithan's champion. Or at least, as kin. For now, though, life among the Gungrim is good. I am used to standing out here, used to towering over this good folk. But what they lack in size, they make up for in heart.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I play the goblin Flick Dogslicer, an Eldritch Knight fighter. Once upon a time, there was a goblin named Flick. That's me. He was a good egg, but as a recently emancipated man, he didn't necessarily have the firmest grasp on the rules of free society, and often ended up on the wrong side of the law. So anyway, I'm in this back alley, minding my own business, rooting through the trash, when this old guy in a blue dress and a big floppy hat with stars and crap all over it comes out of nowhere screaming, "Oh my god, it's a goblin," and starts shooting fire out of his hands at me. So I shanked him. I didn't mean to kill him per se, but, heat of the moment and all that. Now, even I knew how this would play out with the guard, so I'm looking for a quick escape. But this old guy didn't even have the courtesy of carrying a coin purse, just this big stupid book. So, yoink, and I beat feet to the pier and sign aboard the first ship that's looking for crew. Long story short, with enough time and patience, even a bozo like me can figure out a little magic from that big old book. I joined a good crew and enjoy my life as a seafaring mercenary, trying to keep ahead of the law and maybe make a coin or two for myself. The end. By Flick.
Greetings, tale seekers and story watchers. I am Devon, medieval enthusiast and D&D veteran since my 11th birthday when I received the 3rd edition starter set. Led to a bit of a collection. I will be playing the part of Taylind Wavesinger, human bard and mariner, master of the weaponized sea shanty. Oh, it'd be alright if the wind was at our sails. Taylind is a man slowly being consumed by his own faults. He drinks far too much, and has quite a ruthless disposition against those he dislikes. But he still tries to do what's right when he can. As for his goals, well, I'll let him tell you. Oh, me name is Taylind Wavesinger, and I quickly tell to you of a man that I am a-hunting across the ocean blue, with power over the sea and sky. Believe me when I say that when I finally find the bastard, it'll be his last day.
In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man. Down to a sunless sea.
Torque is a Tortle barbarian, presumed to be the sole survivor of the Loggerhead tribe. Even by Tortle standards, Torque is a taciturn individual, never deigning to use 5 words where 2 will suffice, and as such has been less than forthcoming in sharing his personal history with his compatriots. What is known of Torque is that he was discovered on a remote island by a passing merchant vessel, having apparently been marooned there for some years in the wake of a shipwreck which destroyed the rest of his tribe. It is for this reason that Torque holds a special reverence for Desfuna, goddess of the ocean, whom he believes spared his life in the ocean storm that decimated his kin. Having spent the better part of a decade in near total isolation, Torque is unfamiliar with the ways of the modern world, and his social skills are somewhat lacking. It is perhaps for this reason that he has chosen to align himself with allies who are blessed in the gift of gab, as he continues on his pilgrimage, the destination of which is unknown even to himself. Hi everyone, my name is Jack, and I am not a professional voice actor or performer by any means. However, I do have a serious passion for tabletop RPGs, and I hope that you enjoy this upcoming game as much as we're going to enjoy playing it.
All right, so as you complete your hour of needed rest, replenishing some much needed hit points and gathering yourself, trying to take a mental break, refocus, what would you like to do?
Well, I've just finished singing The Derelict for an hour straight.
Yeah, we'll let Taylind rest his pipes. Hey, D, why don't you show me that widget and see if we can figure this thing out together?
The
Yeah.
whatchamahoo.
Yeah.
The Wizits and Was-Its. Dr.
Yeah.
Seuss made it.
Yeah, that's definitely a thingy. We figure the thingy's controlling the door.
That's about the only thing I can figure out in this room so far. It makes sense.
I
Unless
hit
we
it
have to
with
do
the
something
book.
else with the statues again.
Hit it with the book. So you hit it with the book, and a couple of the little nodes and stuff. There's a little bit of like a sparking from a couple spots.
I did it.
I may not be an expert in this, but that didn't do it.
How do you know? It's more progress than you've made. I made things happen.
He's a mover and shaker.
I'd argue, but yeah. All right, Flick, let's figure this thing out.
All right.
The two big intelligent people will go look at the thingamajigger. Me and Torque will go talk about water and stuff or whatever us dumb people like.
Yeah, we're told it's just
Shape for your own intelligence.
So it's just like,
Taylind.
yeah, I've never seen one of these before, but is that arcane sprocket there? And I'm going to. Am I rolling Arcana, Investigation, or Flat Intelligence? What's the
arcane sprocket?
What angle would you like to take? If you want to approach it from a straight intelligence, you may. If you want to attempt an arcane investigation, you may roll Arcana.
I want to determine. Like it looks like it's either like a controller or a power source. I want to figure out what it's doing and what it's plugged in, what it's attached to. Basically, it's attached to the door.
Okay. So if you want to, so what I'm saying is like if you want to try and see if there's any magic to it, you can go ahead and do arcane.
Sure.
Arcana, or if you're just like, what's this do?
Yeah.
That's more investigation.
I'll see if I can see. Yeah, I'll determine the magical nature of it. Here we go. 17's not bad.
Can I get him advantage because we're doing it together?
Yep.
And I'll roll again and see if I can do better than 17. How's a 21 work for you?
All right. So there definitely is a magical component to this. It seems to be a combination of magical and not quite mechanical, but along those lines. So Dinar, having grown up amongst the Gungrim and in Stormhaven, or not grown up, but spent a lot of time there. So the Artificers Guild there, it came out with some pretty interesting contraptions, and you've seen, not to this extent, but you've seen contraptions that blend intuition and engineering with magic. And so this is definitely something similar, but way more advanced than anything the Artificers have ever come up with. Some of the magic makes no sense to either of you as well. Like you figure that with this sort of thing, okay, it's probably got to be some sort of abjuration. If it's, like maybe like a force field type thing. There's a hint of that. And you can actually see the abjuration symbols on the floor here as well, just like there were upstairs. There's a little bit of transmutative properties in there as well. Evocation. And because of the two of you kind of putting your heads together, you wouldn't know it if you hadn't had the experiences that you've had together. But there's a little bit of Taxian magic mixed in with everything here. There's that hint of chaotic energy, but it seems to be controlled rather than it just kind of emanating off of this thing. It's actually like purposefully channeled. So somebody intentionally used Taxian magic in this, and it's done it in such a way that it's seemingly at least contained and controlled.
Craig, when do we get our chaos dice back?
Long rest.
Long rest.
Okay.
I will make some quick sketches. Stylus appears in my hand, and we're going to just real fast because this is interesting, and I got some blank pages in the back that I need some fill in here. And yeah, if we can control this crap, that's good, right? This is useful. Someone's figured this out, and it ain't us.
You imagine that the key here is to try and separate the connection from this device to the force field, that which obviously there's an abjuration element to it. Seems to be the strongest part of it. but
So what it boils down to is this is the power source, and if we bust it off the wall, the door's going to open. That's my professional opinion. Hey, Torque.
are you sure?
No, but it's our best angle so far.
Before you smash, before you smash, does this controller have knobs or levers on it? Something that looks like it might move?
Oh
Or
yeah,
is
there's
it-
lots
is
of
it-
knobs and dials and
Okay.
gauges.
I mean, if you want to spend more time farting around with it, we can probably figure it out eventually. And maybe not all get electrocuted in the process. Or Torque can just rip it from the wall and we'll move on.
Well, yeah. I mean, if there's a simple way to open it, I'd love to just flip a switch instead of smashing. But I also don't want to set off a trap in the process. So I suppose everybody get ready to dodge. And Torque, smash.
Can I assist him with removing it from the wall in some way? Like if I know like whether I'm like unscrewing it so it's easy for him to just to rip and break the connections or whatever. Like is there some way
I'd say given your overall investigation between you and Dinar, it's firmly built in
Okay, so it is just
to
a
the
matter.
wall, so it's less removal. If you're gonna this would be not pulling it out, more just like crunch time, crunching it.
I mean, if you want that thing removed, I think I can probably make that happen.
I mean,
No.
yes.
What's your plan?
Well, I've got this sword, right? You just kind of shove that in there and you just start prying.
See, what was that sword that we got upstairs? Storm's Edge? That's a dagger.
Oh, it's not a dagger.
There's a
Long
long sword and a
Oh.
warhammer, right?
Yeah.
Oh, why did I write down dagger? That was dumb.
Whelming Wrath is the Coral Warhammer, and Storm's Edge is the Coral and Bone longsword.
Hey, Torque, how do you feel about using some holy relics to pry this thing off the wall? How's that sound?
I feel reluctant to use something of Desfuna's for such mundane.
Yeah,
well,
that's
I don't. I'll take it.
I meant that I would prefer to use my maul in this case. I know what it does. I don't know what this hammer does.
I would
All right.
assume percussive maintenance.
All right, let's get on with this then.
Yeah, you're the boss then.
I've
Hey.
heard that sometimes if things don't work, you just give them a good smack and it tends to jump.
All right, who's rolling big old maul attack for Torque?
Let's get Flick to do it. He doesn't get to do lots of big attacks like that.
All right, so just rolling straight up maul. Is that
Yeah.
all right? Here we go. He will go reckless on this because that's what he
course.
does. Kerblam! How's a crit sound?
Of course. That sounds very Torque.
Yeah, no, those are totally Jack rolls. It's
Those
27
are
and
very
29.
much, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and roll that crit damage.
All right. So 25 points of damage, and he ain't even angry.
So you just like the maul, the anchor just comes down right on the top of this thing, and you can see that the casing seems to be metal now, like kind of bends in, and there's a lot of cracks and sparks. There's kind of a sound from inside as you can see some sparks and like glow start to get brighter and brighter.
Everybody back
I can
away.
cover.
I'm gonna get everybody to go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no!
All right.
Torque will have advantage on this because of his dangerous ends.
Do I have my arcane deflection is still up?
Yeah, dexterity save for me. Ooh, I rolled garbage. I'm getting hurt here.
19.
Dexterity saving throw is an 8 plus a 2, but I do have arcane deflection. So if that would fail, Craig, I'm going to add +4 to make that a 14.
Torque gets a pair of 15s.
Dinar is 14.
I'll just say use it. It's so 14.
Okay. And sorry, Torque is
Pair of 15s for Torque.
15. Well, in that case, as these sparks and the arcane energy grow, as this contraption just like pulses and pulses, and there's this weird kind of flickering, ticking sound. And for a moment, time seems to almost like slow as you all dodge out of the way. And then it's just like a poof, a popping. And you're all kind of thrown back a little bit as sparks and electricity shoot out of this. Everybody except for Taylind takes 17 points of lightning damage.
Oh,
that's what I just
Taylind,
got
you take 8 points of lightning damage.
So glad we rested.
As it
Well, yeah.
kind of sparks and a little bit of smoke comes off of it.
Does Torque
Is
have any
that
lightning
what's supposed
anymore?
to happen?
The barrier
Yeah, it doesn't have torque.
Flickers out.
Doesn't torque have resistance to lightning?
Did that go away with stopping this?
Might. Yeah. I
Storm
don't
Herald?
believe he does.
Because he's now a different subtype, so or subclass, whatever. All right, door number 1 taken care of with ease.
If
I
we're gonna attempt
Suppose
to
we should have
smash-
expected that.
If we're gonna smash the next one, may I at least try the levers and the knobs first?
I mean, if you want to be the only one electrocuted, by all means.
I feel like that's better than everybody taking a little damage.
I mean, we could just shoot it from here and duck around the door frame. But anyway, let's go take a look and see if it's a little more obvious.
The chamber beyond,
Oh right, the grid. Forgot about that.
there are 6 illuminated pillars, each glowing with its own energy, kind of with a bit of a hum. And there's a lattice work, 3 layers, 3 walls, lattice work of all you can describe them as are lines of energy, just thin lines of energy crisscrossing between the 3 different sets of pillars.
No obvious thing powering these things. They're just sort of.
Not that you can see.
All right, well, I'm going to pull out a coin and sort of toss it through the lattice and watch it get vaporized. I mean, see what happens.
It does indeed get sliced. And you
Yeah.
watch pieces of the coin drop to the ground.
Dinar is going to mutter some arcane words and cast Mage Hand on the other side of the last lattice lasers.
Noise.
And then he will tell the hand to go over to the controller and probably start with a lever. Let's start with a lever. If there's 1 or 2, we'll pull one down at a time, see if anything changes, pull the other one down.
Oh, I can do something. I will. How far away can I summon the familiar. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think we determined
Mike,
last it was
30 feet, isn't it?
I think so. Let me see. Within 30 feet of me. Okay, so I will dismiss Paige and resummon Paige over there so I can get a nice close look at the panel. I'll describe what everything looks like nice and close up while Dee's doing his work. I don't know if there's any red lights that turn on or anything noticeable that changes. And I will be hunkered down. There's like a raised stone thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a lip, yeah.
I'm going to go to the far side of it and be all right. I'm ready now. I don't want to be in the water getting electrocuted. That doesn't seem right.
So, Dinar, are you taking a methodical or a random approach?
Well, you said that this is more advanced than anything I've seen with the Gungrim dwarves, right? So it's not like I could deduce any kind of strategy to opening up the door, because it's beyond my experience. So that's Dinar's going to start with levers and see if pulling a lever down makes a change. If it doesn't do anything, Dinar will return them back to their original state and then test one knob at a time, turning it left, turning it right, and then continuing to move on. And if nothing happens with the knobs, then Dinar might go frustrated and just start randomly hitting crap.
There are 4 obvious levers, like kind of in a row, side by side.
Okay.
No color coding or anything. They all look identical. Just 4 of them.
Are they all...
So from left to right, we can say, like, left is 1,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4. And they're all currently up.
Okay. We'll start with number 1 and pull that down.
Okay. So as you pull down the first lever, the middle pillar on the left changes from a purple glow to a blue glow. And half of the lines crisscrossing that lattice change color as well.
Okay. Pull the second one down.
As you pull the second one down, the first one goes back up.
Yeah, it's one of these.
And nothing happens.
And nothing
Switch
happens.
puzzle.
Okay. I'll leave the second one down. I'll pull the third one down.
The third one
Won't move.
doesn't move.
We'll try the fourth one.
Doesn't move.
Okay, we'll put the second one back up.
So we're going back up. The lights on the pillar change back to purple.
Okay, we'll pull the third one down.
Okay, you pulled the third one down. The pillar closest to your mage hand, closest to the mechanism, turns blue.
When we were upstairs, the runes that were on the floor that had the different schools of magic, the different symbols had colors to them, correct?
They all had the colors of each like school of magic that it matched. Like every school, you would know that each school of magic has its like a color associated with its
right
rune, essentially. Yeah.
Could I?
More importantly, the statues upstairs, there were some blue ones and some purple ones. The blue ones were good and purple was bad.
Ooh, that's a good point. So they're currently, just before we touch the console, they were all purple?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so right now I've got the one that's closest to the console blue.
Correct.
Okay, so 3 down, 1, 2, 4 up. First one's blue. Let's, with the third one still down, let's pull the fourth one down.
Okay. Pull the fourth one down. Third one goes up. Nothing changes.
Oh, okay. So let's go fourth one up, third one down, first one down.
Okay, so you push the fourth one back up.
Yeah, because it forced the third one to go back up, right?
Yeah, so when you push the fourth one back up, then everything turns back blue again.
Purple or blue?
Or purple, sorry.
Purple,
Yeah,
okay.
purple.
All right, so we'll go third one down,
Okay.
first one down.
Okay. So this entire line the two pillars wink off, and the farthest lattice work away from you guys, closest to the control panel, phases out.
Okay, let me just... So, we've got one... Oh, why didn't that stay? Why is that not staying? I want to draw. I want to draw a hand. Draw. Oh, I have to draw in there? Oh, that's annoying. Can I...
You're on the pool over here. 1 plus 3. This.
Okay. So, just to test, if I then push 1 back up, does it return to the state when just 3 is down?
Those two pillars stay off.
Ooh, okay. Let's push 3 up then.
Okay.
So now, let's pull 1 down.
Okay. So you pull 1 down, and this guy over here, the second pillar, turns blue.
Okay. We already tried 2, so pulling 2 down pushed 1 back up. So let's go to 3 coming down now.
Okay, so you pull 3 down. This bottom one down here turns blue.
Okay, so 1 and 3 are down. Let's pull 4 down.
As you pull 4 down, the lattice works, the remaining lattice works from the 4 active pillars start to sweep the room. Paige gets eviscerated,
No!
as does your mage hand, as they and then come back and lock back in. And from where you're standing, you see
All 3 of them again?
the top 2 still remain off.
Okay. Dinar will recast Mage Hand at the console.
Okay.
He's going to pull 1 down, pull 3 down, and then he's going to try 2 again.
Okay, so 2 pulls this one blue.
And then he'll try 4 again.
So in that order, the remaining 4 pillars deactivate. And the levers all go back up and lock into place at the top. The lattice work of lasers has finished,
Hooray!
but the opaque force field still remains where the door is.
Is there anything
Hey,
else on the
Trillium,
console?
he sent the bird in there, not me, okay? So don't blame me, Trill. Is there anything else on the console? There are 3 dials.
I guess we'll try the dials. Are they arranged in a similar order? 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, left to right.
I can't see numbers from where I am without eyes, so I guess the mage hand will grab the first one and try to turn it all the way left.
So I'll give you an option. Using what Donar has figured out so far, I'll allow you to have Donar to basically puzzle out an intelligence check with advantage, or the players, you and Mike, and the players can attempt it. I'll throw it up to you either way. It can be a player puzzle or it can be a character puzzle.
I have done most of the puzzling so far, so I'll leave it up to party members. What do you guys want to do? Should we try to crack this out ourselves? Or let the rolls dictate?
I'll bounce it back to you and say if you want to solve the puzzle yourself, then Flick will take the 10 minutes that you're taking to recast Find Familiar, and if not, then we'll just plow on.
We can still say that either way that 10 minutes goes by, because Donar would be those 10 minutes being like, I turn that one and that one and then that one.
Okay.
So
then I say roll. That's
I think I'm with you. Devin?
Yeah, I don't want to bog things down too much as I enjoy a good Switch puzzle.
All right, so I will roll with advantage, and you said it's intelligence?
Yeah, and I do proficiency to this. This is basically like a save, right? So your skill plus your proficiency.
All right, so this is +8. I rolled a 12 and a 6, so I will take the 12 for a dirty 20.
Okay. So it does take you a few minutes. It takes another few minutes as you start experimenting with the dials, and you realize that as the dials turn, it changes the hue, the saturation, and the contrast of this field. And it's getting it to that right hue and keeping it, you're thinking, okay, abjuration. The school of abjuration has that particular blue color to it. And it's a matter of matching the saturation and the contrast and all that to get this opaque field to match that very specific color of blue. And as it does so, the field winks out.
Oh.
And meanwhile, Flick has been sitting with his book in his lap, cross-legged, and he's got a page out, tore a page out of the back, and he's like muttering, "Frick, this stupid laser, and fold." Just as he opens the door, it's like, "All right, here you go, kid." And
on the other side is something you weren't expecting. A massive laboratory, arcane lair, wizard's lair or something. There is a huge circle of rooms on the floor. You see desks, some looking more like ritualistic, others there's ritual books, there's an altar, there's papers scattered all over the floor, and you can hear some muttering beyond the door. I've tried this 1,000 times. It's I guess I'm just not meant to get it. What? Come in. Come on. Just don't pass. Just stay by the threshold, if you will. You can enter in the threshold, but I would warn you not to come any further. You'll understand when you come in, please. Just right about there, Master Goblin. Yes. As you enter the room, you can see the largest metal construct that you've ever seen in your life. The ceiling of this room is a good 40 to 50 feet high, just big, open. And there is a construct standing at least 18 to 20 feet tall. It's currently just off. Its head kind of down. And it seems to be standing off to the side of this massive circle of rooms. Getting a better look of the room, there are papers everywhere. Desks. There's some strange sort of capsule compartment off to the left-hand side. You can see a forge. There's alchemical equipment. There's basically anything and everything that has to do with magic and research. It's just there. And an incredibly withered old man who is not who you expect. And even with the withered features, this individual does bear a striking resemblance to you, Taylind. His eyes are gaping black holes, empty. There's patterns of black webbing crawling up his face from a completely burned and charred neck. You can see burn marks elsewhere on his body. I'm trying to get in on this for you guys, but it's not showing up. Let me try and get the picture for you. Are you zooming in, Mike?
I've zoomed in for chat, yes.
Okay, yes. He turns and looks at you all and says, well, you weren't the Vale that I thought would be the one to come down here, but unless you've arrived, I'm sure that I'm not what you're expecting. I'm sure you have many questions, some of which time does not allow the answers for. I seriously would encourage you not to do that, young master. You see that large gentleman over there? That is Sentinel, and suffice to say that I am invulnerable as long as he exists. It will do you no good. Shoot me, you wake him. He is not of my creation, actually. He's sort of my prison keeper, if you would. A cruel joke in many ways. Yes, well, I am Silas, the Silas, original Silas, and as you can see, I am not dead. Well, sometimes I wish that I was.
You have a bit of a thing going on, though.
Yes.
Sorry, did you say the Silas? Like the
That is
original
what he
Vale?
said, yes.
Wait a minute,
Yes.
that was the one at the top of the tree, right?
I am Silas, who sailed to these isles from Shankar to the east many centuries ago. Founded this place, founded Tyr. Unfortunately, the entire Vale family.
How is it exactly that you're alive?
Oh, he ain't alive, buddy. Look at that. Look at that mug. Come on.
You're both right. I am alive. In a way. I'll get to the point. My family, my ancestors were cursed by Umbra centuries before, dating back to before the deluge. You see, it was some of my ancestors who played a part in his downfall in the Second Age, bringing his plans to ruin. And as a result, he cursed us. That curse has plagued every single one of my prodigies, my descendants. It is something that I have spent the last number of centuries trying to find a way to cure. Well, after trying to harness it and abuse it at first, to be honest, and claim no moral high ground. But I had time and some insight from Desfuna, who at last brought me out of my cursed adherence to Umbra. Something he was not very happy about. I've tried to make an amends for what I and those who came before me and those who have come after me have done. Perhaps you will succeed where I have failed. Oh, I apologize for the theatrics with the book. Get a little bit bored after spending a short eternity by oneself.
So that was you speaking through the book.
More or less, yes. As far as Elsbeth, I'm afraid that Eddard got to her. Or what's left of Eddard. The thing that took him over. Well, I could spend a long time talking. I'm sure you have questions.
There might be a few.
Let me lay a couple of things out for you to make it clear.
Oh, here we go.
No. Just as soon as you step beyond that threshold, Sentinel will wake. Sentinel will do what he's programmed to do, and that is attempt to kill all of you. And then he will seal everything back up again and keep me here. I cannot leave. I cannot go on either. So you have your questions, but I ask two things of you. Stop Eddard. Taylind, you are a Vale. Perhaps one who has a chance of escaping this curse that has plagued us for centuries. Stop him. And end me. Well, what can I tell you? And please don't ask questions of history about kingdoms and all that nonsense. I have books and whatever, but I suggest you keep it pertinent.
Stopping old Netty Boy is definitely on the agenda.
Netty. It's a good nickname, actually.
What I'm not sure about is why he's kept you around here if you're seeking to subvert Umbra's control.
Bit of a catch-22. I cannot leave here, and he could not get in without my permission. You see, it wasn't just a matter of a Vale picking up the book. It was a Vale that I chose. A precaution that I put in place. Once I saw the light, as it were. Unfortunately, there have been so many of our bloodline who have succumbed to the tempting power of Umbra.
You were saying that you understood how to wield this curse.
I thought I did. Look at me. Power has its price.
Indeed.
This is not life. This is imprisonment. This is torment. I grow tired, yet I cannot sleep. I grow weary of life, and yet I cannot die. I do not thirst, I do not hunger. I cannot satiate myself in any way. I linger.
So you've called us down here to give us a hint as to how to kill Eddard? Give us a tool?
To give you access. There are tunnels beneath this city belonging to the Valshar. Ruins which I believe you've visited already, some of them. And you're wondering how, let's just say that I've been blessed/cursed with the ability to feel every single Vale, wherever they are. If I but think, I know it's not seeing and peeking. I can't see you, but I can feel.
Yeah, well,
But there are tunnels.
Creepy.
No, part of the curse. There are tunnels linking this region of the city, of the area, to the crypts, the other side of Hightown. So what I and some of those who've come after me have used to get about unseen, long after we were presumed dead. The Valshar were very interesting people. Not from here. I've come to believe that they are from another world, realm, perhaps universe entirely. Much of the advancements that you see me putting into use here are thanks to their ingenuity, not my own. The stasis pod, which gives me life. As you can see behind me, the controls on those doors, the lights, ingenious. But for all of that, it did them no good. They were wiped out by their own quest for power and knowledge. And they left behind many things. Things that I've used. Things that should never see the light of day. But through those ruins and tunnels, you will find access to the crypts where Eddard seeks to complete that which I began, unfortunately, centuries ago.
He seeks to wield the power of Umbra?
Not exactly. You see, there is another that wrestles for control. You know him as Triskades, I imagine. He too came here just like the Valshar. Only an entity much more capable of great destruction. He seeks godhood. He seeks to wield the power that Umbra and Umbra's kin have at their disposal, and yet, being on this side of the veil that separates the gods from this mortal world, if he were to obtain that power, there would be nothing stopping Triskades from, well, I'll let your imagination fill in the gaps.
think we get the picture.
Umbra seeks to use Truscades. Truscades seeks to use Umbra. They
Big
play
ol'
against each
shadow
other. They play with each other. In the end, if either of them win, we lose.
Game of Shadows, if I ever saw one. So tell me, Lord Silas.
Grandpa, call him Grandpa.
No. If you could feel every veil, and I am one, as you said, then
Yes,
tell me
you are.
this. Which of my parents holds the blood that runs in your veins?
That would have been your father. I know not what name you knew him by, or what name your mother knew him by. But his name was Malcolm. Malcolm fled. Tear. It's ironic that the veils above thought him dead. I knew he was not. And so I was able to feel him as he journeyed, as he fled, as he sired. Another veil.
And yet he no longer walks this earth. Despite
Correct.
all of that.
Yes.
He was fleeing Eddard then? Or the power that controls Eddard?
Your father is one of the few to understand the darkness behind the power that our family was built upon. You see, we Vales we tend to the extremes of either vice or virtue. Once we realize the curse, realize what flows through our veins, there are typically two responses. One, my original response, to wield it, hunger for it, use it, and ultimately be used by Umbra and cast aside. The other, to fight it with every living breath, to resist. Desfuna helped many of our people with that. Finding faith and purpose in another deity, one with power. Held that darkness at bay for many. It's a sad tale, I'm sorry.
Hey. It's mine. All them. I only really have one other thing that I want to know. On this
That is,
great family tree of which you have sired, whereupon lies this Malcolm Vale.
I'm sorry, could you rephrase the question?
Mm-hmm.
Do I remember seeing a Malcolm on the tree? Like, I'm trying to figure out what my relation is to Eddard.
You did see a Malcolm. Edward would be a cousin. So your father was Malcolm. His parents were Holm and Cordana. Cordana was High Priestess of Desfuna.
Oh, jeez.
And Cordana's father was Malkith. Malkith and Arya gave birth to Cordana, Felmina, and Gertrude. Through Gertrude came Silas III, and through Silas III came Eddard, and Valencia, and Silas IV, who wasn't long for this world, unfortunately. So you are cousins. You would not have been in line for the title, as it were. Typically going through the firstborn of each generation. But you are a Vale. You are a noble of tier for all that counts for. By blood, if nothing else.
Do you know what killed my father then?
Unfortunately, no. I'm only able to feel when a Vale is born, where they are. I'm able to get a picture of them, description, feelings, emotions, those sort of things. Name. For every single one of them that has come after me, just like that, they're gone. They vanish. At first, I thought that it was just my mind losing track of them, and I came to realize that that emptiness was their life ending. But I never know how. Told you it's a curse. And a blessing mixed together.
That does tend to be how it works. Right. Well, we know you're not going anywhere. How do we find Eddard?
Behind where Sentinel stands, there is a door leading to the catacombs below. Those catacombs lead directly to the crypts of the Vale family. And it is in those crypts where there is a vault that I constructed centuries ago. There's an egg in that vault. Not the one above. Bigger one.
Oh, good.
An egg which theoretically can be used to give birth to a living dark god here in the mortal plane.
Well, that sounds bad.
Yeah, why would we want that?
You don't want it. You want to destroy it. You want to stop Eddard from releasing it.
Now, for the million gold question. When does he plan to do that?
He's there.
Uh-huh.
But he's not in the vault. He's close. You see, just like this place, the vault has precautions in place. He's been working hard to break through them all, sacrificing, well, anything and everyone he could, snuffing out a very noble family. See, all the noble families were entrusted with an heirloom, a key, as it were, connected to city's dark secret. The taint of Umbra touched not only our bloodline, but all those we connected with as well. Some of them, at least. By killing all the families, he managed to get a hand on all the keys. And he's close. It will take him time once he breaches the vault. It is not an easy ritual. It is a spell that I spent centuries researching. And even then, I did not finish it, complete it. But I believe that under the influence of Triskades, that Eddard, whatever he is now, may have the final piece of the puzzle, as it were, and with that knowledge, we'll be able to do what, thankfully, I could not.
So, what would be your educated determination of how long it's going to take before he's got that egg open? A day? Day and a half?
Days?
A
A
year?
week? 2? It all depends on how quickly he gets through into the vault.
Yeah.
But as I said, even then, the ritual itself is exacting and costly. It is consuming of life and energy. Even with the power that I imagine he has from this Triskades, it will take him days, perhaps, to bring it to completion. It's no small feat birthing a god, you know.
Oh, don't tell Torque. He's pregnant with a god right now.
True story.
Interesting.
Yes. Anyway, so how exactly are we meant to get past Sentinel then? Because from what I understand, that's just not possible.
Oh, it's possible.
I would hope so.
Just not easy.
Is anything ever easy these days?
You see, I don't have much else to do down here other than research and contemplate and play. You see this fancy circle here? And he kind of lays out the very elaborate ritual rune circle.
Kind of hard to miss.
In the very center of it, you see that orb. There's a sort of yellowish crystal orb in the middle on a very small pedestal.
Yeah, the yellowish crystal orb on the very small pedestal.
Yes, that one. Let's just say that it is packed with a significant amount of rather destructive energy.
So what you're saying is we can use the orb to destroy Sentinel.
Destroy? No. Weaken? Yes.
Oh, good.
Long enough for us to get past him through to the tunnels.
I was hoping you would destroy him completely and thus would allow me to finally die, but do what you must. If getting past him is more prudence,
Oh,
so
no.
be it.
Seems like it might be handy in case this Vale happens to be slippery and gets away.
Well, I
Could be
was
good
just
to
thinking
know where he is.
if we can get that egg and bring it back here, throw it in front of the Sentinel.
That sounds like a plan for very far away for now.
Yeah.
Ironic that in the hundreds of years that I've sat down here and contemplated and schemed, that single idea never crossed my mind. Amazing that you can still learn after hundreds of years.
Well, there you go, Dinar. You just
Thank
taught an
you.
old wizard new tricks.
Thank you for that insight. You definitely have promise as a wizard, I would say. Keep that mind sharp.
Yeah.
Well, also, there's some things I think Silas here, and yeah, I think me and Lord Vale here have some things to discuss at length once we're no longer trying to stop a dark god from being born. I'd like to keep him around a little bit. He's already lived for this long. What's a few more couple of days?
Silas, just remind me. The only reason that you're trapped in this room, does that have anything to do with Sentinel?
I think it has everything to do with Sentinel.
Is that why you're trapped, is because of Sentinel?
My life force is tied to his.
So if we kill Sentinel, we're killing you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all for the bum rush and sprint on by and scamper off through the tunnels and deal with this later. Sorry, old man.
Can I
understand.
Can I roll?
Stopping Eddard is the primary goal, and I fully support that.
Can I roll insight on my question
Sure.
of if we kill Sentinel, does it kill him?
Yep.
It's not amazing. It's a 10 plus my insight of 1. 11.
He's being pretty straightforward. There's definitely layers to him, but you do sense an eagerness. Like when he talks about wanting to die, it's very believable. Like he wants to be gone.
Okay.
Look, I understand you would have your reasons for keeping me around. I have done a lot of things I'm not proud of. I've spent the last few hundred years trying to atone, trying to find a way to remove the curse, make up for it. I know I don't deserve it, but in asking you to end Sentinel and thus end my existence, I am asking mercy for a man who has spent centuries grieving for mistakes that I can never undo. But do what you must. Stop Eddard. You know where I'll be. Oh, and do say hello to your cousin Valencia for me, please.
Oh, yeah. Boy, that's going to be awkward. Well, that's for future Taylind to deal with after imbibing far too much alcohol. Right. Sentinel. We're going to have... He's a big boy. Any of you magic-y folks got one of them spells for dealing with this sort of thing?
Well, he's
I
talking.
make him real clean.
Undo construct. Clean.
Silas mentioned channeling power through that orb in the middle. Silas,
Sure.
how exactly do we make use of that orb?
How long is that going to take?
You keep Sentinel close to it.
Uh-huh.
Get out of the way, and it goes kaboom.
So
You
it's
hear that, Torque? We got a job for you.
It's an arcane bomb. Okay.
Yes, the barriers of this runic circle are meant to contain the energy.
Just a bomb in this room?
Now, it will not kill him, but it will weaken him and allow you to do the rest.
When you say weaken...
Allow you to
talking-
damage him.
Ah, well, yeah, that's pretty good.
Without weakening him, he will be impervious to any attack we throw at him.
He is impervious to some. He regenerates.
And where does this fall under?
He's a self-regenerating entity.
I see, okay. But where does he fall under resistance to magics and things like that? Like, you know, for example, if we were to somehow find a way to magically restrain him.
He cannot be so restrained, but let me give you a
Yes.
little bit of insight into him. He phases between various of the word that the Valshar used was programming. He has various sets of instructions that allow him to alter his capabilities between being immune to magic, immune to physical, to regenerating, to shutting down and becoming invulnerable. See, while he's in this state, he cannot be damaged in any way. There's also a flaw within him, though, a weakness, and this is something that I have spent many years researching. You see, the Valshar, they were drawn to the chaos magic of the Ataxian Weave. They, much like the Drakfost dwarves and others of the past, thought that they could harness it and use it. And in some ways they succeeded, but as chaos tends to do, it went a little bit chaotic on them. You can only harness chaos for so long before it does what it is intended to do. And so within the very core of Sentinel, there is chaos. There is unreliability, and should he be overcome by that chaotic nature, he's very likely to destroy himself and everything else. But it is also a weakness, in that when he's in that state, Anything and everything hurts him.
All right. Well, sounds like we're getting a bit of a plan together. We got to get Torque to wrestle with him while we take care of that orb. And then Boogie.
I think all we have to do is get him to enter the circle. And then we just have to maintain his presence in the circle.
The inner circle, you mean, right? Because there's three circles. There's four. Wow. There's three circles and then there's the incomplete one on the edge, right? 4 circles.
Does it just have to be
circles within circles within circles within?
It looks like there's one around the orb too, which would be 5. Yeah. So from what I'm understanding is basically we got to get him into the orb. Orb go boom, and then we can actually fight him. And if we don't want to kill a sentinel, because I mean I'm not partial to do that. I want to keep this Silas guy around for a while. Gotta ask him some questions. But that is going to make it kind of awkward when, if we leave the room, does Sentinel return to its post?
If he's able to, Sentinel will follow you down. Once you awaken him, he will do whatever he can to destroy you, for you have entered the threshold. You have violated the space which he guards with all of his programming and purpose. It is what he exists for, and he will follow that to a T.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing can stop him from it.
And if we go through a little 5-foot wide door, he can't follow us?
Smash down
the walls are only stone after all.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So then, Dinar, your plan of waylaying this thing after it's been weakened, what you got there?
Well, I do not have much left.
So what I'm seeing is theoretically we could weaken it and then try to run, but if it's one of those like I'm gonna hunt you down until you're dead things,
yeah, it's gonna go full Robert Patrick on us, and
yeah, this is not that that $1 million but where there's a snail chasing you for the rest of your life. This thing is Juggernaut chasing us for the rest of our lives.
Literally, yeah, Juggernaut is a good way to describe this. So then, okay. We have some new information.
Mm-hmm.
We know what Vale's up to. We know we have a rough timetable on that. We were talking before about people wanting a long rest. We could do that in this, like here. And Taylind can get what he needs from Silas, and then we don't have to worry about that. We can take out the Sentinel. But even then, I mean, I don't want this guy dead. He's way too useful to have around.
Yeah. Craig, just because I'm... Sorry, go ahead, Ian.
He's begging us to put him down. You cruel and unusual bastards. So I say we do what the nice old man asks us to do and kill him. Just putting that out there.
He knows the things that I need to be made aware of. His information, which can only be useful to us.
Speaking from my experience, Taylind, let me caution you. The price of knowledge is sometimes not worth paying. And I speak from lots of experience.
Mm-hmm.
That is not me trying to bargain my way out of giving you answers. I will give you the answers you seek. You should question the burden of that knowledge, though, and what you're willing to pay.
We're doing you a favor.
Your goblin friend speaks wisdom. It's interesting to see that your people, Master Goblin, have advanced and fared well, it seems.
Oh,
What can I say?
Sorry, sometimes Grandpa gets a little. He's got some of that old-timey stuff.
Yeah,
what
I know.
mean
I'm
is-
very well spoken for a green man. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Well, thank you very much.
No, not at all. See, the goblin tribes back in the Darelands never cared much for civility, but the ones that I encountered early on here were enlightening.
Hear that, little guy? I slapped
Good
Torque
to
on the side. He called me civil.
It's good to see that you've done well here. Just brings me some hope for this world. Well, unless Umbra destroys it, but nonetheless.
All right, I kind of like Taylind's plan. We'll have a nice little nappy here in the vestibule. You can go have a chat with Grandpa, and then we murder Grandpa in the morning. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Silas, if we hang out here, is this trap going to reactivate itself?
That was my next question. The lasers behind us.
That's a really good question, actually. I'm not entirely sure.
Let's go back to that storage room.
Then I can't talk to Silas.
Well, you can hang out here as long as you want, but I don't think we
fair
should
point.
stay in this
I
room.
mean, I can.
You can talk me through the book, I suppose, can't you?
I could. Nice to see a face.
Well, it's
I've
nice to see
spent
my
centuries
face,
with
I'm
books.
sure.
What I mean is that I've spent far too long with only books. It's nice to have
That's not so bad.
actual people.
Well, I'll tell you what, Taylind, if you want to hang out here, I'll write down the combination to the trap here. And if it reactivates, you can do it from this console and then come back to us when you're done.
Works for me. Thanks for,
For what?
Well, I wasn't talking to you, old man.
It wasn't very clear. He said, thank you to the air, I suppose. I'm not.
Listen, Taylind, if it'll give you some peace, have your night. Have your chat with Grandpa. We'll see you in the morning. Because Lord knows you could use some peace, buddy.
It's not exactly peace that's on my mind.
No, definitely a veil.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, and I'm going to go away thinking you are going to be content. Good night. As the radar ears are totally picking up everything muttered under your breath, of course.
Tell me, old man, you still drink, or are you too much of a husk to even enjoy that?
It brings me no pleasure, but I'll imbibe for your sake.
Seems like a waste of booze.
Falls out of this hole on his side right here. It's kind of...
He's not. It just doesn't do anything for him.
Takes a drink.
Here, you can have some water.
About as useless as the other stuff.
If you can't taste and you can't feel it, what's the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. I can conjure water out of nothing.
I can conjure taste. I can taste. It just does not satisfy. It does not bring the same sensations that the real thing used to.
Maybe you just need stronger stuff.
Taylind, what does it matter to you if he gets anything out of this? In 20 minutes, you're going to be too drunk to recognize that he's not getting drunk.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
fair
It's all
point.
right, Master Dinar. I will oblige him.
All right, well, Taylind, don't stay up too late. We need you fresh in the morning.
Gotta get your shut eye.
And with that, Dinar will walk back towards the main room.
I need my beauty sleep. Oh, geez, Torque, you're still here. You've been so quiet.
This is a lot.
Hey, who would have guessed that, we'd have so much to deal with here. By the way, pretty sure you owe me a ton of money now.
I don't think that's how it works.
Sure it is. You raided and pillaged from my family.
Enjoy your
You
chat,
now
Taylind.
owe-
He walks away.
I'll get him later.
Very well. And Taylind, what should we discuss?
I think Taylind will sit down cross-legged, take out one of the lowest alcohol drinks he's got, mix that with a little bit of this and that.
Highest alcohol drink he's got?
Yeah. Tell me about my father.
We will segue there
That's what I figured.
as we bring this enlightening session to a close. And we will pick it up not next week, because next week is Thanksgiving.
Food.
In our next session, we will see what Silas and Taylind have to discuss and what awaits with Sentinel and Eddard and everything else to come. So thank you so much for joining us and hanging out with us. I hope that you are enjoying our little game here and what it brings to you. And if you do enjoy it, please hit the follow button on Twitch and check out our socials and do all the clickies and the likies and the likes and such as and the things and the, thingamawhatsits and all them things.
Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's it?
it?
What's that thing spitting? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not
What
port.
he
Now
said.
I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control.
Exactly. But yes, thank you so much for joining us. And for our Canadian family, we'll say now, happy Thanksgiving in the coming week. Enjoy your time with family, friends, loved ones, and food. And we will see you next time. Night, everyone.